Hello class, welcome to this video on GR 4.5D, word problems involving volume of cones. So let's take a look at the first question. So a company makes cones out of solid foam. Each cone has a height of 13 inches and its base has a radius of 3 inches. How much foam is needed to make 50 cones? All right, so let's take a look at the volume of a cone. So and let's look at your formula sheet and see what it says. So if we go to our formula sheet, we got the volume of a cone is given by 1/3 times capital B times, here they put lowercase h, but I'm going to use capital H there. I'm going to use 1/3 capital B capital H. And the capital B is the area of the base. And what's the area of the base? Well, a cone has a circular base, right? And so the area of a circle, we need to find the B from here, pi r squared. I'm going to take this pi r squared, I'm going to plug it into there and get the formula for the volume of a cone. All right, so let's take a look at it. So we got the shape of a cone right here. And as I mentioned earlier, we got a circle for the base. And so when I draw the circle and I draw it out, that's my base. And so the formula for the base for the area of a circle is pi r squared according to the formula sheet. And they said that the volume is 1/3 capital B capital H, where H is the height of the cone. And remember that the R is the radius, where the radius is half of the distance, right? And then the diameter is the entire distance, right? And so the radius is half of the diameter. Okay, so then we have here the formula for the volume of a cone is 1/3. If I plug in this B into there, pi r squared H. There you go. So there's our volume for a cone. We're going to be using that from here on out, right? When we do these problems, 1/3 pi r squared H. But if you forget, I showed you how to use the formula sheet to help you recall the formula. All right, so they said that the height is 13 inches. So we got the height is 13 inches. That the base has a radius. That's the radius. Okay, so that means we don't have to cut it in half. So we got the radius is 3. And then how much foam is needed to make 50 cones? Okay, so we got volume equals 1/3 pi times radius squared times height. And so remember, this is going to give us the volume for one cone, and then we can multiply by 50 to get it for 50 cones, right? So let's figure out what this is. So we get 3 squared is 9. 9 divided by 3 is 3, and then 3 times 13 is 39. So this is 39 pi. You could do all of this on the calculator, of course, and get the answer. So let me show you that. Because we're going to have to plug in 39 or 3.14 for pi anyways. So I might as well show you the entire calculation. Okay, so let's do the entire calculation. So 1/3, that means 1 divided by 3, times pi, 3.14, times 3 to the second power, times 13. And again, Desmos is really good for this. So I would highly recommend using Desmos or Scientific Calculator. All right, so we got about 122.46 cubic inches of volume. Now remember, this is for one cone, right? So we have to multiply it. So this is the cubic inches per one cone. And so we're going to multiply by 50 cones to get the total amount of foam needed. Notice that the units of cone cancel. And let's figure out what this is. Let's see, let's do this. Times 50, see what that is. So we got 6,000, okay, so it's a nice number. It's a nice full number here. So we got 6,123 cones, or not cones, I'm sorry, inches cubed. So it takes that much foam in order to make 50 cones. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. Let's take a look at that next problem here. So it says a silo is in the shape of a cone. The silo is 8 meters tall. Okay, so we got our height there. The base has a diameter. Okay, so diameter. So that's D is 3. So that means that the radius has to be half of that, okay? Or 1.5. Soybeans cost $414 per cubic meter. How much will it cost to fill the silo with soybeans? All right, so we got the volume is 1/3 pi r squared h. So let's plug it in. So we get 1/3 pi times r squared, 1.5 squared, times h is 8. And we're going to plug in 3.4 for pi as well. So I might as well do that here. I'll just do it here. Okay. All right, so let's plug it in there and see what we get. So we get 1/3 times 3.14 times 1.5 squared times 8. We get 18.84. And this is going to be cubic meters. And so this is going to be for, this is the volume. Now they want the cost. So we need to multiply. We know that it's $414 per 1 cubic meter, right? So per cubic meter. And so we multiply that by how many cubic meters we have, and that gives us our total cost, okay? So notice that these cancel. And so that leaves us with our total cost. So we get 414, let's do that here, times 18.84. Yes, okay, so we get $78,148.32. Okay, so it's a pretty heavy cost, right? That's a big silo. And so you got a lot of soybeans, and it's pretty costly. All right, so we got our total cost. Okay, so a trucking company needs to move a pile of sand. Sand is stored in a pile shaped like a cone. The pile is 9 yards high and its base has a diameter of 10 yards. How many truckloads will the company need if each truck holds 4.71 cubic yards of sand? Okay, so we know the formula for a cone, right? So it's 1/3 pi r squared h. All right, so they say that the pile is 9 yards high. So we got the height is 9, and then it says the diameter is 10. Okay, so we got the diameter is 10. So remember, the radius has to be half of that. How many truckloads will the company need if each truck holds this much sand? Okay, so this is a volume that they gave us, right? The volume per truck. All right, so let's plug this in. We get 1/3. Let's just use 3.14 for pi. And then r squared, so 5 squared, times the height, which is 9. Let's calculate that. Okay, so when I calculate it, I get 235.5. Okay, so we got 235.5 cubic yards. All right, so now that we got the calculation, remember, this is the total right here. This is the volume of the pile, right? Of the pile of sand. Okay, so remember that since this is for the pile of sand, we need to take this. This is actually the volume of the trucks, and multiple of them. Okay, so for example, 4.7 cubic yards of sand. Well, we have to figure out that times how many trucks. So this right here, is cubic yards per truck, right? So we need to figure out how many trucks we need to multiply by the number of trucks, in order to get the pile of sand that we have here. Okay, so that's what we need to do, is how many trucks do we need? Do we need 5 trucks? Well, if we do 10 trucks, then 10 times 4.71 is 47.1. And that's not enough to make the pile. So we need to figure out how many trucks. So we just basically need to divide. So we're going to divide both sides by 4.71. And that gives us how many trucks we would need. That cancels out in order to get that. So we can just divide this and get our answer. All right, and when we divide it, we get 50. It looks like we get 50, so we need 50 trucks in order to make this work. All right. All right, that's going to do it for the video, guys. Hope you found these useful, and I'll see you as usual. I'll see you in the next one.